We see the cosmos and we are marvel because we are the wonderful creations of the cosmos. That is why we pursue the fundamental physics, the deepest laws, forces and particles that construct the cosmos. But why do all this work so well? Start with that what we know. Science has discovered the strengths of forces like gravity or electromagnetism and a description of particles such as their masses. All these strengths and descriptions are defined with the numbers. These numbers are the constants of the nature. And the big question arises, why there are the constants of the nature seemingly ideal to make a cosmos? Are all these seemingly ideal constants or an accident? And why do they just happen to work together to generate structures so perfectly? Like galaxies, stars, planets, people. Is all this called fine tuning? What's the fine tuning in physics? As you can see, there are many fundamental constants in the physics. For example, the speed of light, the gravitational constant, electric constant, charge of electron or proton, mass of electron, proton, Planck constant, Avogadro constant, and many more. There are many constants which defines the laws of the physics. How these constants are so fixed, even a slight deviation in the constant can cause or change the laws. So we can say the any change in the constant can cause the changes. Some of the unique physical constants of our universe, if the value of these physical constants had been slightly different, the universe would have been different. That's many think that our universe is very special and it has a purpose. That's what the fine tuning heads us towards. For example, let us see inside the cell or the unicellular cell. There are mitochondrions in or lysosomes, Golgi bodies, or what we call in all the organelles in the cells. They work so perfectly. The human body acts as a finely tuned machine, a magnificent metropolis in which, as its inhabitants, each of the 75 trillion cells composed of 10 to the raised to power 27 atoms moves in symbiotic precision. Going inside the body and then inside the cell is a journey to the wonderland. If we could walk inside a cell, our first task would be to keep from getting bowled over. We would have faced with the many of the micro-sized vessels moving in all directions. It has been estimated that there may be many as some 200 trillion molecules in a single cell, all executing thousands of coordinated reactions with precise timing. To get a scale for the rate of activity, consider an average. Each cell in our body forms 2000 proteins every second, and in every cell. We are so embedded in the biosphere that the marvel of its organization has become lost within its commonness. Let's see for another example. We must have studied in chemistry each and every molecules have their angles. There is the angle between the molecules. Let's see for example in the water molecule H2O, there are angles between the oxygen molecules, the hydrogen molecules, or in the carbon dioxide CO2, there is the angle between the carbon atom or the oxygen atom or in a collective way molecule. The angles of these H2O and CO2 molecules, the unique angle of these molecules are central to their structural versatility. The shape and structure of molecule is an important for the determinants of its function and how it proceeds in the reactions. We also know that the angle of the carbon dioxide CO2 molecule is 180 degrees and the angle of the H2O or the water molecule is 104.5 degrees, and these angles are fixed with some defined number, which makes the miracle, which forms the reaction and gives us the required or the most needful elements for us, the living beings, to survive. Isn't this an example of fine tuning? The angles are very fine tuned in order to act in a certain way so that we can survive, or this universe survive, or the universe is managed. The more we know, I think, the more we discover, and the more we think about it, the more and more details of the physical world, of chemistry and biology, we will see, or everything will be fine tuned, and some actually are purposely designed. There is a purpose for this creation. Even the scientists who are the atheists, like Stephen Hawking and Richard Dawkins, have said about the fine tuning. Stephen Hawking, in his book A Brief History of Time, says the remarkable fact is that the values of these numbers seem to have been very finely adjusted to make impossible the development of life. He further explains, for example, if the electric charge of electron had been only slightly different, stars would have been unable to burn hydrogen and helium, or else they would not have been exploded. It seems that there are relatively few ranges of values for the numbers that will allow for the development of any form of intelligent life. The Richard Dawkins, in his book The Blind Watchmaker, says that biology is the study of the complicated things that gives the appearance of having been designed for a purpose. This fine-tuning, or finding the truth of the universe, how the universe was formed, why the universe was formed, and for what purpose the universe was formed, this is the absolute question for which the science is finding. What is that fundamental absolute which forms all these physical laws, or all the laws of nature and universe, that we are finding for? And fine-tuning is one more thing which can give explanation to which we are heading for, to find the absolute. But once again, this cannot be explained in a single video. Let's begin another part in the second part of the video.